Guys, happy Wednesday. This week is kind of flying by for me this week. Seems like it's going by fast. I am sitting down to make these wool sweater pumpkins, so I thought I'd show you how I'm doing it. It is super windy outside, so it makes me nervous just because of that storm we had come through, and we still have trees that are kind of just limbs are just hanging, so it's making me nervous. If I look up there, that's what I was doing. I can't sew at all. It's something I wish I knew how to do, but I can't. I can't sew at all. So I am making these with no sewing expertise at all. So if I can do this, anybody can do this. I love finding wool sweaters at, if you can see me and hear me, I need to always say this. Let me know. Give me a wave, give me a hello. Tell me, is it fall weather where you are? I just always want to make sure this is working right. So I picked up this amazing wool sweater at a thrift store. It did have another arm. But I love these cable knit wool. This one is like, it's all wool. And somebody did, can you guys see that? Somebody did dry it. You can kind of tell. So it's kind of stiff, but I had to pick it up and I had to make something out of it. And so this is what I made with stuff I had on hand. And so I'm going to make a couple more. I thought what I want to do is I just cut off the sleeve, and I will kind of show you. You can get out of one sweater, you can get 2 pumpkins out of each sleeve. And then I want to cut, I won't do all this on here obviously, but I want to cut it kind of in the middle here. And then I would take the hood off. Maybe I could even get one out of the hood, but so that I can get maybe 2 bigger pumpkins here. And then I will have 4 smaller ones from the sleeves. So I'll show you. This is going to be hard. I guess I didn't think about this, and I always get nervous about moving my camera. So how I literally just kind of went underneath the armpit and just cut straight up. Okay. Last time I was on a live, somebody just like that. Does not have to be a perfect cut. Then I folded in half and I cut here, and then that's how I got this piece and then the piece that I did this other pumpkin. The last time I did a live, a lot of times I can't see the comments and stuff until later. There's like a lag in the time, but if you don't want to see the comments, just swipe over, because somebody said they couldn't see what I was doing because of the comments. So just swipe over and those should go off of your screen. Okay, so then what I did was, with this one, I turned it inside out, just like this. You can make little arm sleeves too. And then I just used a rubber band, and I closed one end of this sleeve. Now that I kind of know how to do this, I'm gonna wanna go and find a ton more sweaters. Okay, so then it looks like this. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it back right side out, and this kind of becomes the bottom of your pumpkin. So just like that. And then you have it like this. Okay, so the next thing you need is polyfill. If you have any throw pillows, old throw pillows laying around, use those. Take the stuffing out. Or obviously get a bag of the polyfill. And so you're just going to shove that in and make it as full as you want. Now, if you knew how to sew, but I am going to use a needle and thread, you could probably make these even better. I don't know if you would sew the end of that closed. Like I said, I'm not a good... Sewing is not, I still have a sewing machine I bought, probably, you guys, this is embarrassing to tell you this, 4 years ago, and it's still in the box, brand new. Yeah, still in the box, brand new. So, just makes me, actually, I don't know where I would put it, but it just intimidates me. I would love to know how to do it. That and upholstering furniture would be, fun to learn. Okay, so then I just have it like that. You guys see what I'm doing here? That thing started tipping, so I'm just gonna try not to move it, but I'll just lift it as I do it. Okay, so then I have another rubber band. I mean, you guys, super easy so far, right? And then I just close this up with a rubber band. Let me do it. Well, you kind of want to keep it loose up here because once you get this all done, that's when you're gonna stick your stick, or if you had like wood dowels, you could use that too. You're gonna stick that down in there, and if it's too tight, you won't be able to get that in there. So I just did this one twice. It depends, you know, obviously if you have, you know, the thicker your rubber bands, or that'll depend on how many times to go around, but easy peasy. Okay, so then I just left it like this. Okay, and then I used a longer, kind of thicker needle, and I used, now I know there's a term for this, these kinds of threads. I remember sitting down and doing these for my mom, putting them on these little cards, writing the little numbers on them. Yeah, I remember doing this. But anyway, so I have a bunch of, you could use any colors. I'm just using the white, and I'm using the full strand. So it's kind of thicker. You could use thinner twine if you wanted to. And I got kind of a longer piece, and then I put a knot at the end. Easy peasy. Okay, and now this guy looks a little funky, but pumpkins look a little funky sometimes. I'm just trying to move some of this poly down. Okay, so for this sweater, I just am following kind of the cable knit. See how they're kind of different, the lines? So I just kind of went on each side. Again, not perfect, but I don't want them to be. So what I do is I take my needle. Oh, I gotta kind of use my table. And I'm gonna go down. Can you see this? Like on one side of the cable knit where I want it to go. So I'm gonna push this down through this pumpkin. And then I kind of push it on this table and smush it down. Can you guys see that? Okay, so here's my needle. So I'm just gonna pull it through. Okay, so now I just need to initially get that through. So now I'm gonna come back up here with my needle. I want this thread to go kind of right here. This is very forgiving, so you can move it wherever. So I'm just gonna go down again, and I'm gonna kind of push it on this table to kind of get it through. You do need a long needle. This one, actually, I could probably use a longer one, but I didn't, it's what I had on hand. So if you're going out to get supplies for this, get a long needle. So I kind of push it on my table just because mine's not super long and I just need help getting it out. Okay, so you can see it looks like this, right? And so then what I do is as I'm pulling it, I'm just gonna line it up with that cable knit. Actually, I'm just gonna go on the seam of this arm for this one. So I'm just gonna go there. And I'm gonna pull tight. So as I'm pulling tight, okay, please do not fall down. Please do not fall down. See, that's what happens. That's what happens when I try to move things. Okay, so I'm gonna pull super tight and it kind of scrunches down. And then I'm just gonna make a kind of, just like a knot here at the bottom. So I'm gonna slide my needle through, just cross. You guys, I'm not a sewer at all. So then I kind of just go through like that and I have this loop. So I'm just gonna put my needle through it and kind of make a knot. So I can pull that, I don't know if you call this a stitch tight. So then it kind of looks like that. So it's gone from a taller one down to a more scrunched one. So then literally I'm just gonna make my way around these different sections. So I'm just gonna go on top here again, find out where I wanna put another, line in the pumpkin. So I'm just gonna go down here again. That polyfill right there is really, and just watch where your needles come. Again, I'm pushing it down on my table because my needle's not that long. If you had a longer needle, that would be better. But going through the polyfill and stuff, it's kind of tough. So you see, I'm not even showing you guys. So I'm gonna go down through this seam here. So once you get this through, you can move it kind of wherever you want it. So I'll just pull it a little more tight. I have to see it here. Move it to where I want it. There's a seam right there. So I'm just gonna use that seam. Can you guys see that? So it's kind of, before I was going down this side and this side of the cable knit, but I'm just gonna do it on these seams on this one. This is the smaller end of the sleeve. So you see how it's kind of wider, obviously at the top, and then this is the bottom of the end. So I feel like the seams are more than this one was. So, okay, so anyway, so I'm just gonna do the same thing, right? So I'm just gonna pull tight, and it's gonna kind of give me that sectioned, let's see if I can pull tight in, kind of that sectioned pumpkin look. And I'm going to, again, pull it tight, kind of come down here and make another stitch. I don't know if that's the right word. And I'm gonna knot it again. My needle, it just came out of my needle, which is fine. I'm gonna knot it again and pull tight. Okay, I'm not going to do this whole thing on here. You guys kind of get the gist of what it is. So it's gonna start looking like, which way is it? The section is right here that I just did. So I will do a section here, I would do a section here, and it kind of condenses it down and then makes it look more like a pumpkin. But the cable knit sweater, the wool sweaters, I just love it. So once you get all of that done, all of the sewing done, what I did was I came up here and I went out, we have a lot of sticks still out in the neighborhood, and I just picked up a stick and I cut it down to size. And this one's a little bit longer. And I literally just stuck it in between, like I said, that rubber band up here. And it kind of stays in place. I don't want to tighten that. So at this point, I should say, once you get it down to this, it's like really firm. It's like a really firm pumpkin. It's gonna sit down on your table or wherever you're gonna put it just fine. So like right now, this one's gonna be a little wobbly yet because I haven't done all of the sewing. It like, once you are pulling this tight and pulling this tight, the polyfill, it just goes down and it just makes it more stable. So what I'm gonna do this, even though I don't have this one done. So I had it like this, and I don't like all of this, but your pumpkin stem could have a turtleneck. You could leave it on there if you like that, obviously. So I just cut it to the length I liked it. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Okay. Okay, that looks good. Maybe I'm gonna cut it a little bit more down here. You can't mess these up. When you're out in the pumpkin patch, pumpkins aren't perfect. So they're gonna all look a little different, which I love that about them. And then what I did, just to kind of finish it off, you could use ribbon, you could use burlap, you could use whatever. I didn't want to go out and buy anything, and I have run out of twine. I use twine for everything. So if you always buy twine, if you see it somewhere inexpensive, pick it up. So I have this rope. So obviously it's way too thick to make on these, right? It just didn't look right. So so it's like a braided rope, and there were 3 strands together to make the big rope. So I just started taking it apart. So here's 2 of the strands. Here's the 3rd one. And I literally, you guys, this is twine. This is twine right here. And I can't remember, I think I used 3 or 4 of them to make them a little thicker than just one, but yet not as thick as this rope or even one section of this rope. So rope, if you have rope at home, it's all twine. If you have this kind of, braided rope, it's a bunch of twine in there. So that's what I had on hand, so that's what I'm using. So then I literally just, I'm not gonna do this now just because I wanna finish this, but I just tied a bow here with this twine. I just did that loosely there. And then I got this when I'm all done. Now I wanna go and find a bunch more sweaters because I think these would be really cute, and having just a bunch of different cable knit sweaters. And literally, I mean, it's nothing too fancy that you have to have on hand. You could use wood dowels, you could use other things for this, but I just went out to our yard and cut up some branches we had out there. The twine, if you don't have that, if you've got rope, or use ribbon, or you know, even if you wanted to use your wool sweater, this obviously is not straight. You could cut this straight and make a cute bow out of the same fabric on your pumpkins. And then you just need some string, thread. You sewers will have to tell. What is this? Is this embroidery thread? My mom didn't embroider. What did she do? She cross-stitched with this. So yeah, and then just a longer needle. This is the longest one I had, and I would say it's about, I don't know, maybe 3 inches. If you had a longer one, that would be great. It would just be easier. But at least 3 inches I would try. I'm a little nervous about doing the bigger ones with this, but this is what I have, so I'm gonna make it work. But yeah, and that's all you need. I will run out of white string thread, so I will have to use maybe a different color on the bigger ones, but yeah, easy peasy. If you've got old sweaters that you've dried, and it doesn't have to be sweaters, you could use any kind of fabric you want, but I thought this was super easy, so I'm gonna finish making a couple of these, and then I will put, okay, I can see you guys now. Just checking for any questions. Do you have any questions? And always let me know, you know, if you're not watching this live. Embroidery. This is embroidery. Okay. See, you guys, I don't know how to sew at all. If you have questions later, let me know. I will come back in and then I will put a blog post up once I get these done, just so then you can refer back to it. Did I answer all the questions? Okay. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish this one and then hopefully make the bigger ones. I'll make 2 more smaller ones with this sleeve. And then I think I can get 2 bigger ones out of the body of the sweater. And I don't know. Maybe I could probably get something out of the hood, but yeah, kind of a fun project. You could do it while you're watching your favorite TV shows or, okay. All right, I will check back later. If you have any questions, leave them here. And yeah, I'm always worried that I'm missing questions here because it comes so late. And so I'm going through just to make sure. But I think they're just telling me people are watching. Okay. All right, guys, I'll finish these and then hopefully have a blog post up soon. Have a good Wednesday. I can't believe it's already Wednesday.